for joining me. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Scott, and this is a Martin 0015, serial number 2180008. And I've worked on this guitar many times. My customer plays it a lot, travels with it, and as a result, it developed a big old crack here in the side. And it's not the first time either. The first time it cracked all along this side. This was a couple of years ago. This was the first time I met this particular artist. And this whole thing needed touched up and refinished and glued and cleated on the inside and all that. We're going to do the same to the this is the treble side. The previous repair was here on the bass side of the guitar body. So let's get started. The guitar sounds great, even with these old strings. And forgive all the noise, it's air conditioner season. But I'm going to make a few measurements just to make sure where all the action and relief settings are, and then I'll take the strings off and we'll start getting some fish glue in there. And I'm warming up the fish glue over here on the other bench. The action is a lot higher than I recall it being the last time I saw this guitar, which was probably less than 6 months ago. I wonder if that side separation has anything to do with the top flexing upward. That'd be interesting. I'd be very interested to find that out. We won't find that out till we get her all glued up. Ooh, this tuner's real bent too. I think it took a fall. I don't remember that tuner being bent. Maybe it took a fall. She might not even. Yeah, she's told me it's taken a few falls. She's like a one-man show. Is that correct? One-man show? One-woman show? The thing we can see around this side is that it has a cross-grained crack right there. So once I get that glue in there and get it aligned, I think I'll slap a few magnets, one on the outside, one on the inside. Now this is really close to the curved lining that goes around the guitar inside. It's almost right on the edge of it, so I might only be able to use those magnets in a few places. Here I'm preparing the magnets. They're really hard to separate, but anyways, I'm using this Glad press and seal, and what this will do is it'll give me a little something to hang on to, but also it keeps the magnet from sticking to the project, the inside of the guitar, what have you. And it's really good for, you know, staying stuck the way you have it, like right there. It just kind of stays stuck to itself, and these are so hard to remove once they're together. You have to almost slide them off like that, but every time you do that it kind of damages them, so it damages the press and seal. So kind of carefully set these aside and kind of have them prepared and ready, and I'll use them where I need them. And these are the spool clamps. I'll get everything aligned as good as I can, get these set up for a dry run, and figure out where I'm going to put the magnets. What I've done now is I've put the StewMac scissor jack in there, and I've opened it up a little bit so that I could get this piece aligned with this piece. Alright, I used this little hook to kind of pull it apart again. You can kind of see the scissor jack down inside. But I got this fish glue in a syringe. I'm going to get it going. Kind of get it right where I want it. Got my baby bottle warmer with some nice warm water in it right now. So I can get these pieces aligned nicely. And I can release this jack, that scissor jack. That's pretty good. I'm gonna get this piece to pop back down. Alright, I got that piece to pop back down. Now I'm gonna get more glue in here. Right here, I'll flex that jack a little bit. I'm gonna just pull the jack right out of there now. I'll leave it. I'll leave it for a second. This area where the crack was furthest from the lining kind of felt misaligned. So I'm going to use the clamps right here. Yep. And I'll loosen up the clamp, slam the magnet up against there, and massage it a little bit and retighten the clamp. So I addressed that that little missing piece. It was down under here. I whittled away a little bit of the raw wood from the inside edge of it and put a little fish glue around there and popped it in there, and I was able to pop this magnet on there too. So to hold it in place while the glue cures, and there it is. All the clamps are on. The glue is in the crack, and I'll let it sit overnight. Used up all the magnets after all. We'll come back in the morning and cleat it up. Next day here. How are y'all doing today? Did you wake up to the birds chirping? We've got a mockingbird here. And a lot of cicadas. What do you have in your backyard? Maybe katydids. Katie did what? Crickets? Anyways, I wish that was more level right there in the waist. I can see a bump. I can see a bump here. It's all bumpy. I kept talking about it yesterday, but here it is. This is what I was warming up. That little fish glue syringe in this baby bottle warmer. And today I've got a little bit of warm water in this sponge. I'm going to clean it up. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but there's a little bit of glue squeeze out, miscellaneous glue squeeze out all over this thing. I think today I'll stick the endoscope down into the sound hole and let you see the inside, because the outside is boring. You want to see the inside. God, this guitar's all sticky. See, all this sticky shit is sunscreen. Lindsay is very fair-skinned with that light red hair, you know, that UK, northern UK Scandinavian, kind of like the color of Ed Sheeran's. So this is all sunscreen from those outdoor patio gigs, you know, and it's on the neck. Got it all on the neck. My God. But it's really kind of grimy. Now I take the endoscope and I'll show you the base, or I mean the base side crack that was the previous crack from a few years ago. The two spruce cleats were from the previous repair, and the little rosewood cleats are from my redo repair. And they're about every 3 inches or so. And they go all the way down the side and down towards the end block. And there's the old jack I was talking about yesterday. You couldn't see it yesterday, but there it is. Well, this is a little jig that I watched Bo Hannum make. Probably know Bo Hannum. He's in Colorado. He's an Aussie. He's from Australia. Anyways, I epoxied this broken magnet onto the dowel, and now I can stick it inside the guitar and place this rubber magnet on the outside of the guitar to hold the endoscope steady while we look at the treble side crack that I just glued up, and we'll look at how we're going to cleat that. Okay, I'm going to put the camera facing the very end. I'm going to maneuver it over to the side a little bit, give myself some room. There's an X brace that wants to be in my way. So this is right up against the X brace right there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is just a few inches away from the end pin. And remember, there's that little teeny hole. You'll see it down over here. That's where that little missing piece of wood was that I stuck in there right towards the end of yesterday's session. So, you know, on the other side crack from a few years back, the cleats were round. But since this crack is so close to the kerf, the lining, kerfed lining, that's what we call that, I'm going to use rectangles or squares. And I'm going to try to place one right here. And yeah, and then I'll go down the length of it and place one every 4 or 5 inches. Maybe 3 or 4 inches. Can you hear that mockingbird now? Once again, I'm going to be using the Glad Press and Seal. Comes in 100 square foot from your local stores. And if you don't have it, that's too bad. Well, now this time I'll be using round magnets, and this around a magnet is the strongest magnet in the whole world. You can't even separate it without a tool. I used a hockey puck, and it instantly went over and tried to get on top of one of my other guys. Well, I think I'll put the press and seal on my handled magnet. So this will go on the outside, and this one will go on the inside with sandpaper on top. So let's get some sandpaper on this one. And for this one, I use 220 grit stick-it sandpaper. Now, I cut off the excess and try not to cut off my hand. And now, it sticks like that. Holy crap. Oh no. Okay, I got it where you can see the endoscope in the foreground, and then you'll see me in the background sticking this magnet on the outside and then trying to fling the sandpaper side down. Whoa! Ho! What happened? There it is. the weirdest thing I've ever tried to do. Oh my God. I just pulled some of her red hair out of the sound hole here. You can see how red it is. Oh, Lindsay Beth. Now, I'm going to see if I can get this hemostat with the paper towel to wipe it up. Wipe it up. Now I make little rectangles, stick them in there with some Type Bond Original and magnets. Probably use the square magnets. Now I'm over here mapping out how I'm going to cut these on the bandsaw. These little squares. I got 6. I think 6 will do the trick. They're 1.5 centimeter square, and they're just about the right size for those magnets. So they'll be the perfect little clamping mechanism, and they're square, so they'll go right up against the curved lining. And this is waxed on the end, so I want to look at all that wax. Yes. Have you guys ever been to a hardwood lumber yard? They have to wax the ends of the boards to keep moisture from wicking in, and it keeps the lumber more stable when they seal the end grain with wax. So that's where that's from. It's from the sawmill or the lumber yard where it was actually rough sawn. And then it probably went somewhere else and they resaw, but the wax still stayed on the edges. It's very waxy. Heh. Did I mention this was Paduke wood? I cut it and shaped it on the disc sander so it's slightly beveled on one side. So on the non-beveled side, I'll take a little bit of acetone and see if it's an oily wood, you know, like rosewood. Rosewood's so oily that when you do this, a bunch of the stuff comes off on the Q-tip, a bunch of the oil. So you want to dehydrate it just slightly and get some of that oil off of there. And then take a little bit of Type Bond glue and we'll slather a little Type Bond glue on there. Or a lot. And we'll wait a little bit. So the next thing I did was I took that silly putty type stuff that they give you for installing the K&K magnets, and I stuck it in between the magnet and the Paduke cleat, and I got my other side of the magnet here, and I'm going to walk around making sure the grain orientation on the cleat is north and south, like the grain of the side being east and west. I just want to do a cross grain installation. What happened was I missed the mark on my first attempt. So on my second attempt, I went in there with the hemos, like attached to the cling wrap right there, and hit it just right. So now I got to go in and clean this off with the paper towel. And I got to be careful with the hemo because the metal on the hemostat wants to attach to the magnet. Just trying to keep things tidy. You see how close the crack is to the curved lining. So this first spot, this is where those two pieces kind of came together like that. So that's why I wanted to get that cleat there. It kind of bridges the crack. Oh yeah, this particular area had 2 cracks, didn't it? Yeah, there's 2 cracks here. But after about 2 inches, it just becomes a single crack down this way. So I have a dozen of these 5/8 inch square magnets, so that means I have the opportunity to put in 6 cleats because I have 6 pairs of these square magnets. So I could just go right down the line and do 6 of them and let it set overnight, and the job will be almost done by tomorrow. Now I've taken this very, very small magnet and I can reach in and move the endoscope a little bit to show you that the this is just a ½ inch away from the first cleat. Whoop! Oh, it just stuck. Gosh darn it. Okay. Well, what I was getting at here, and I don't need to really show you with the magnet, is that the crack goes down along the kerf, so it doesn't need a cleat until we get over to this area over here. And then we just barely need a cleat. Right there's where I'm going to try to get that first magnet. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the magnet back into the picture. Okay. This spot looks good for a cleat. This is where it's kind of uneven. But it's the first opportunity we have right there of maybe setting a cleat right there. Here's the second cleat. This one turned out much cleaner because this one I can actually reach in there and press it up against the lining, and we can see there's a little bit of glue squeeze, and it's right up against the lining. The crack is really close to the lining anyhow. Right there. But we make our way. There's actually about 6 inches between the first and second cleat. There's a 6-inch area where it's right up against the lining, and it's being held with the glue that I put in there against the side and the lining. So I probably only use 4 cleats on this job. Here's where I'm going to put the third cleat. This little magnet just kind of tells me where. I'm going to put a little mark on the outside of the guitar with a little Scotch tape and bring the magnets over, and that way I know the right spot to put it. Okay, this time I'm being brave and I'm not using the silly putty. I'm just going to use my thumb. And there's the third one. Well, so that first one that I glued into place still has the silly putty attached to it. I was able to grab onto the press and seal part of the magnet and yank it off of there, but I gotta figure out some way to clean off this silly putty stuff. Other than that, the other ones look pretty good. Let me see if I can swivel this endoscope around so you can see the other parts. Well, now there's 2. There's 2 silly putties to be cleaned, and there's 3 that are already pretty clean looking. That one has a little something on it. That very last one looks pretty clean. That one's, I don't know what that is, but I can reach in there and clean those 4 as needed. It's just those, my arm can reach that one, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Pretty close. Yep, I can kind of feel that there. So I can pick this and clean this part off, but it's that last one I'm gonna maybe get a little putty knife or something. Maybe this one. I think something like that. Just noticed something kind of cool with the endoscope. Right now I'm cleaning up the inside with the magnet, and it doesn't matter if I turn the guitar, you know, this way or this way. The endoscope's kind of nicely in place there. I can even hop up onto the curved lining and over onto the cleat. It jumps around like that, which is kind of nice. I can scrub off the leftover silly putty stuff. See, it's getting kind of rubbery now, and just clean it up and go down and scrub over that old crack. Work my way around the whole interior. You can see all the sawdust flying around. But this is the cleat that's the furthest back there, the one I can't reach with my hand. And now it's looking pretty darn clean. So magnets and an endoscope for the win. Come around. These other ones. Bring my magnet over. And if I don't like the way the orientation is, I can change it right here, which makes more sense to the way I'm holding this. So. You guys can see it better. I zoomed in. Okay, now I shall address the issue of this unevenness in the crack. I actually already I did this as a test area to see how quickly I could do it. In this area I left it as it is. Just applied another wet Q-tip right there, and I think this is about as level as one could like. Now the next trick for finishing it off, instead of doing a bunch of level sanding to get it perfect, I'll just take the red Scotch-Brite and dull it down. Okay, so this is just a quick little demonstration of where I'm going to go with this, but I might work on it for a few more minutes and be right back. And the other thing I realized last night when I took the cleats off, I restrung it to string tension, and it turns out the action went back down to where it was supposed to be. So don't be surprised if you crack the whole side of your guitar in half, that your action gets high temporarily until you get it fixed. It's a good thing to, if you have an accident or something, just take the string tension off of it, loosen the strings, put it in the case, and bring it to the guitar tech as soon as you can. Because who knows, a wait list could be 2 months. After acceleration, it might be a good idea to just Scotch-Brite between coats for kind of level things out in between. That's what we do with lacquer. May as well do it with the glue boost. If I really wanted to make this look nice, I would do this for a half hour, and then I would mask off the top and back and spray, just out of an aerosol can, Stu-Mac satin. That's what I did. I remember doing that on the other side crack. I mean, you can't even see it. I was just going around it one last time with this burgundy colored Scotch-Brite pad, and then I'll wipe it with naphtha, and you kind of get the picture of what the end result looks like. Nice. And then, in other good news, I got all that spooge off of it. Turns out the Clean and Shine color tone guitar polish worked great on a Viva paper towel. It wiped right up. No big deal. So if you get suntan lotion or sunscreen on your nice little guitar, this'll work. And I believe the action came back down, which makes sense, because, you know, whenever something's structurally wrong with the guitar, you can expect the top to flex in a different way. But I'm going to change these strings and measure it again and give you a little sound demo. We'll check the K&K pickup, see how that sounds. Okay, new strings, sounding good. The string action was 7/64 on the bass side, now it's 6/64. On the treble side it was 5.5/64, now it's about 4.4/64. 4.2, I don't know, just above 4/64. Perfect for a short little guitar like this. Let's give it a listen. Alrighty. This is an electric amp, but we'll hear this K&K pickup through it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate all the subscribes, all the shares, and all the likes. It really makes me happy. And it inspires me to keep going. So keep watching, and I'll keep posting videos. Catch you later.